What is going on, everybody? In this video, I'm going to be going through my week 11 picks and predictions for every single game this upcoming week. I'm going to give a breakdown for each of the top 25 games, and I'm also going to predict the winner for each of the unranked games. But before we get into picking the games this week, let's look at how I did last week. Last week, there were 52 games I picked, and overall, I went 35 and 17. That's just picking the game straight up. But against the spread and the over-under, I went 30 and 22, so definitely not a bad week, as it went around 60%. This week I feel good about my picks. I feel like some of these games are predictable. So without further ado, let's get into predicting the games for this upcoming week. Starting off Friday night, number 20 USC will play Northwestern Friday 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Northwestern is always a gritty team under David Braun. They have a decent defense. But in this game, I don't expect them to put up much of a fight on the road at USC in a Friday night matchup. Teams have really struggled on the road in Friday night games. And I am impressed with USC this season, the way they went on the road and handled business against Nebraska in cold weather, and now they have this game back at home. That offense is going to play much better, and I like them to win this game 31-13, especially covering minus 15.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 22 Memphis versus Tulane. This game will be played Friday 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Tulane and Memphis have both had their lows this season, but they've also both looked pretty good at times. And Tulane is coming off of a pretty bad loss to UTSA where they lost by 20. And the American Conference continues to beat itself up. I think it continues. I like Tulane and that defense to bounce back. They just played so bad last week against UTSA. And personally, I still don't think Memphis is a great team. I don't think South Florida played their best game against them. And I like Tulane to go on the road and upset Memphis. This is the American Conference. There are so many good teams. So I like Tulane 31-30, covering plus 7.5, and I have the over. The next game is Penn State versus number 2 Indiana, Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I don't expect a different story from Indiana. They will continue to dominate everybody. Penn State really isn't great on offense or on defense, and Indiana has just been a dominant team on both sides of the ball. We know how Cincinnati is. He does not take it easy on these types of teams. We know he's going to make a statement in this game. So give me Indiana big in this game once again, 42-14. I love them to cover minus 13.5, and I have the over. The next game is Mississippi State versus number 5 Georgia, Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Mississippi State picked up their first win in conference play last week against Arkansas, but now they have to play a well-coached Georgia team. Mississippi State might keep this game close. They might be able to compete, but Georgia is always finding ways to win with Kirby Smart, and personally, I just don't think Mississippi State is that great of a team. So I really like Georgia on the road 34-20, covering minus 8.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 9 Texas Tech versus number 8 BYU, Saturday 12 p.m. Eastern Time. I think these are the top 2 Big 12 teams in the country, and we have a top 10 matchup. We have game day heading to Texas Tech. This is a huge game. BYU is undefeated. They've had a couple of games where they slipped away in one possession games, but that's just who BYU is. They can win in many different ways with that stout defense and that run game. They play an old school type of football. But Texas Tech is a very tough place to play, and I don't think they're going to let this moment slip away from them. They have it at home. This is a must-win game for Texas Tech, as if they lose this game, they might be out of the playoffs and the Big 12 title. BYU has had a good season up to this point, but this is an elite Texas Tech front seven, and this is a tough place to play. I really like Texas Tech. If they can start games faster, they can be dangerous and compete with the best teams in college football. The way they dominated the fourth quarter against Utah and the second half against Kansas State. We've seen potential with this team. While I do think BYU is a stout team, they're going to fight and keep this game close. I like Texas Tech 28-23. I like BYU plus 10.5 though, and I have the over. The next game is Purdue versus number 1 Ohio State, Saturday 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Purdue showed some fight earlier this season, but they're really not that great. Their offense has came back down to earth. They're still winless in the Big Ten, and they're playing the best team in the country. I expect another Ohio State blowout win. Not much to say about this game. Give me the Buckeyes 42-10, covering minus 26.5, and I have the over. The next game is Ole Miss versus the Citadel, Saturday 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This is basically a bye week for Ole Miss. Nothing much to say about this game. Give me Ole Miss 63-7. The next game is number 19 Missouri versus number 3 Texas A&M, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Missouri has a stout front seven, and I think they might be able to compete in this game. Texas A&M is coming off of a bye week. Maybe they come out flat. I would not be surprised. These road games in the SEC are no joke, and I think Missouri's defense will keep them in this game. But ultimately, Texas A&M is the better team. They will win this game late. They are a gritty football team. They found ways to win in many different ways. So give me A&M to get it done, 27-24 on the road. I like Missouri plus 4.5 and I have the over. The next game is Iowa versus number 6 Oregon, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Can Oregon come out hot off of the bye week? I don't know. While I think Iowa has a very good defense, I think Oregon also has an elite defense. Right now, they have a top passing defense in America. They've had a very stout defense. And personally, I think Oregon could win this game alone because of their defense. Iowa does not have the offense to outscore Oregon. This could be a similar game to the Indiana-Iowa type of game, but I really do think Oregon's offense will come out to play. They have just played flat lately. They've had to overcome some obstacles. They had that bad game against Indiana off the bye week. They had the bad weather conditions against Wisconsin. But I really do think Oregon should have taken a different approach to this last bye week. I do think they put the work in. I do think they will come out in this game. Give me Oregon to win this game. I'll say 27-13, doing enough offensively. It's not going to be easy on the road at Iowa. That is no joke. But I like them to win this game and cover minus 5.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 18 Miami versus Syracuse, Saturday 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. While Miami just continues to get worse as the season goes on, this one is not going to be a loss for them. Syracuse is so bad. I expect this one to be similar to the Stanford game. Miami will control these games at home against pretty mediocre teams. Give me Miami 41-10 minus 27.5 and I have the over. The next game is number 15 Vanderbilt versus Auburn, Saturday 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Auburn is coming off of a 10-3 loss against Kentucky. There's nothing much going for them right now. They had that one win against Arkansas, but Arkansas's defense is so bad. Hugh Freeze got fired, and this is a bounce back spot for Vanderbilt. They've been really solid at home. I trust Vanderbilt pretty comfortably in this game, 31-17, covering minus 7.5. I think Diego Pavia has a good game and the over hits. The next game is Wisconsin versus number 24 Washington, Saturday 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I do think Washington is going to have some road struggles in this game, but Wisconsin does not have the offense to win this game. It's not easy to go on the road and travel and play in cold weather across the country. This one's going to be a tough one for Washington, but I do think they're just so much better of a team and more complete. I like Washington in a low-scoring battle, 23-10. Wisconsin's defense will keep them in the game, but the offense won't be able to do much. Therefore, I like Washington minus 11.5 and I have the under. The next game is number 12 Virginia versus Wake Forest, Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Virginia continues to find ways to win games. They managed to sneak by California, winning by 10 last week. And with the way Wake Forest played against Florida State, I don't really see Virginia on upset alert. I know they've had some shaky games, but they do continue to win, and sometimes that is all that matters in the ACC and the Big 12. You're winning games, because it's not easy to win week in and week out in this landscape, and Virginia's defense has been pretty stout over the last few weeks. I also think they got the quarterback who can get it done. I like Virginia in this game, 34-21 at home. I like them covering minus 6.5, and I have the over. The next game is number 14 Louisville versus California, Saturday 7 p.m. Eastern Time. I really don't see this game being close. Will Louisville cover? I don't know. But Louisville will definitely win this game at home. California has been a very, very bad road team. And again, this is a team that just does not get better as the season goes on with Justin Wilcox. They have a talented young freshman quarterback, but he still has a bunch of growing pains, and this is a good Louisville defense. And they also have a dominant run game. Isaac Brown has been picking it up lately. I'll say Louisville wins this game 34-17. I guess give me Cal plus 18.5 to cover, and I have the over. The next game is number 4 Alabama versus LSU, Saturday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I really think Alabama could struggle a bit off of the bye week. They were battle tested for a while, playing a bunch of tough games, and maybe not playing a game for a couple of weeks catches up to them, and LSU is probably trying to clean up a lot off of the bye week. I don't think Alabama has a great offense. Their defense can win them games in many ways. And personally, I don't expect a great performance from Alabama. I don't think their offense is going to go for over 30 on LSU, but I think their defense is just too good. I think Alabama will continue to sneak by, winning one-possession games until they meet a very good team in the playoffs. Give me number 4 Alabama beating LSU 24-19. I like LSU to fight and keep this game close, plus 10.5, and I have the under. The next game is number 10 Notre Dame versus Navy, Saturday 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Notre Dame didn't play their best game against Boston College, but all of their issues are really things that they can clean up in one week. It was just some bad penalties and they hurt themselves, and obviously some missed PATs that was embarrassing. But Navy is a team that never gives Notre Dame any trouble, and this is just a mismatch. Notre Dame has this game back at home. I expect a statement win for them. I expect a blowout win for Notre Dame, 45-10. I like them minus 24.5, and I have the under. But with the ranked games out of the way, let's get into predicting all of the unranked games. I will just be predicting the score for each game. I have Akron 35-21 over UMass. I have Miami, Ohio 27-24 over Ohio. I have Ball State 31-28 over Kent State. I have Toledo 31-14 over Northern Illinois. I have App State 38-27 over Georgia Southern. I have South Florida 45-28 over UTSA. I have UCF over Houston 23-21. I have SMU 31-17 over Boston College. I have West Virginia 34-20 over Colorado. I have James Madison 38-23 over Marshall. I have Arkansas State 34-31 over Southern Miss. I have Army 26-17 over Temple. I have Liberty 34-17 over Missouri State. I have Eastern Michigan over Bowling Green 30-24. I have Rice 38-28 over UAB. I have Rutgers 27-24 over Maryland. I have Louisiana Tech 37-28 over Delaware. I have Middle Tennessee 24-23 over FIU. I have Jacksonville State 31-21 over UTEP. I have East Carolina 41-20 over Charlotte. I have FAU 38-37 over Tulsa. I have Duke 38-24 over UConn. I have Arizona 31-28 over Kansas. I have TCU 31-27 over Iowa State. I have Kennesaw State 37-20 over New Mexico State. I have Coastal Carolina 41-21 over Georgia State. I have North Carolina 28-13 over Stanford. I have Louisiana 37-31 over Texas State. I have San Jose State 41-31 over Air Force. I have Clemson 34-31 over Florida State. I have Florida 27-13 over Kentucky. I have Utah State 35-17 over Nevada. I have UCLA 28-13 over Nebraska. I have UNLV 42-27 over Colorado State. I have Oregon State 35-13 over Sam Houston. And I have Hawaii 27-24 over San Diego State. But anyways, that is going to do it for all of my picks for week 11 of college football. You guys let me know what you think about my predictions down in the comments below and leave some of yours. But that is going to do it for today's video. Let me remind you guys to like the video and also subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. And if you guys love college football, then you'll love this channel because we upload a ton of college football content. And we basically cover everything on this channel. So definitely consider subscribing. And also consider checking out my socials down in the description below. But that is going to do it, guys, and peace out.